Welcome back to Deep Roots Wellness Podcast. Today we are continuing our conversation with Kirby O'Connell, where we're diving deep into our deconstruction journeys. In part one, we shared the beginnings of our stories, what it was like growing up in faith communities, and the impact those teachings had on our self-worth and our view of God. In part two, we're going even further. We'll be exploring how our understanding of God has shifted, the role of free will, and what spirituality looks like when you step outside of religion. As always, our goal is to share openly and honestly, not to dismiss or disrespect anyone's beliefs, but to bring healing and authenticity to our own. If you haven't listened to part one yet, I recommend starting there. Otherwise, let's dive right in.
And then the part about not caring about the planet, and I'm just like, how is that good stewardship? You know, we're supposed to be like good stewards of like the things that God entrusts us with. And like, how is that good stewardship if we're just like totally exhausting all the resources and like ruining the planet and we don't care? And we're only focused about after we die? It didn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. But that's also like that's it, people that are in that mindset. Many religious people, all they can see is their world through their lens.
Yeah.
And then the afterlife. And so the earth, which gives us life, keeps us alive, they don't feel connected to it. Like I personally now, and I didn't before. I didn't care if I littered before. Now I'm picking litter up out of anywhere I go.
Yeah.
Right? And because I feel so connected to the earth, to the plants and the trees and the animals, because again, in my opinion, we all come from one source.
Yeah.
And so I believe that Christianity is a very self-serving religion. And so it keeps us very selfish.
Yeah. It like small.
Yes.
Very small.
We can only see what benefits us.
Yeah. And I, like you said, like, I think that's by design.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's by design. Just so people, you know, I was even thinking about this, not just with Christianity, but just like capitalism and like just the United States, how I feel like right now there's this collective awakening and I liken it to waking up from being in a toxic relationship. Like, you know, you're like going along with it and you're like, okay, this seems weird. That seems weird. That doesn't feel right. I'm not super happy. And then like finally like the veil is lifted and you're like, wait a second.
Ooh.
Like, okay, you've been telling us for so long that, you know, we just need to take a pill filled with toxins that cost an outrageous amount of money that we have to, you know, pay out of pocket for. But really, it's like, and then you're feeding us all, like, the food pyramid is such crap. And like, and it's like, maybe, just maybe, if we eat, like, actual food that we're supposed to eat.
Right.
And, you know, we take ourselves out of toxic relationships or jobs or you know, set clear boundaries with people, maybe a lot of our health problems would just disappear
like magic.
Crazy.
Our bodies will heal themselves.
And then but it's like
it's crazy. It's amazing how that happens.
I know, wild.
I know.
And then like, you know, like when we really peel back the layer of like, oh, who's benefiting from this? Like all the people that we put in charge. That we like trusted. You know, that's how it was for me in my like, you know, not healthy marriage. It was like, I kind of like, and I'll take responsibility too, that I feel like as a citizen, I was just like, oh, it wasn't right. I'm like, my parents didn't vote in local elections. We voted for the president, but that was pretty much it. You know, and so like, I'm sure like I let a lot of people slide through just by virtue of not voting and not paying attention, you know. But now, it's the same in my relationship. I was like, well, he was a pastor and a counselor, so he must know more than me. And I'm just going to like give away my power because then I don't have to think about anything. And then I'm surprised all of a sudden when like that power has been abused.
That's right. So with religion, who benefits from you staying in a state of guilt, shame, and fear? You don't benefit. We don't benefit from that.
I want to say men.
Yes.
Men do.
I mean, especially men, right?
Yeah.
And we stay in a state of control. Like, people can control us.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, this is something else that, like, really got to me. But also, weirdly, I was so, like, conditioned that I was okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that women are supposed to be virgins, but men are expected to fool around. Excuse me? I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, I know.
You're like, oh, wait a second. You know?
I thought it was, when I realized that in the Bible, that men could have as many wives as they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to be virgins. But in the Bible, a woman had to be.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't, you'd stone her.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
that was another thing to me. And
not even just that. If she was raped, done for.
Done.
Rest of her life.
Exactly.
It wasn't her fault, but she's done. She's tainted.
No,
she's no good. Somebody's already been there. Yuck.
But also, if a man raped her in the woods, he could go pay her father to be his wife.
Oh,
but if
yeah.
he didn't want to, he didn't have to, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's just give our daughter over to her rapist. That sounds wonderful.
Right?
Oh, my gosh. Like,
I know. And then fathers could give their daughters as slaves. And if she did not, if her master wasn't happy with her, he could pass her down to the son and she would be a daughter-in-law.
I mean, there's so many, like,
yeah.
No wonder men have a hard time thinking of women as people.
As people. That's right. They're
Like,
objects, they're property, and they're sex objects, and that because it's in the conditioning. I think it's much better than it used. Obviously, it's better than it used to be.
Yeah.
But and men are starting to wake up.
I think they are. Yeah. I do think they are.
But many are still, like, they just see women as sex objects and property.
Well, yeah, it's like, think about it. Okay, they're told not to be anything like women. Like, this is the other thing that maybe you've been seeing it a lot on TikTok, but that basically, like, men don't like women. They don't like women. Mm-hmm. I mean, they see women as, like, conquests and, like, you know, trophies they can carry around and, like, status symbols.
Yeah.
And people that
I never thought about that.
Do all the things for them that they don't want to do anymore. I do think it's interesting that, like, a single man has to do all his chores and do everything for himself and still go to work. But as soon as he gets married,
he forgets how.
Yeah, it's no longer his job. But yeah, like, so don't be like women at all. Yeah. Like, how dare you ever be like a woman? Mm-hmm. But, you know, you're supposed to like women. Even though it's like, no wonder they,
I've never thought about that, actually.
Us.
That's a very good point. I've never heard that.
I can't take credit.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, like, if you think about, like, a girl that guys really like, she's interested in sports. She's like outdoorsy.
She's like a buddy.
She's like a man.
I've never thought about that.
I know. Yes. It's ridiculous. You should like women that are like into.
I used to conform into that.
Oh, I could never do it.
To get people, like, make sure that people like me. That was
cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I never liked sports. My whole family loves sports, and I think it was just the, like, rebel in me. I was just like, I don't like sports. Also, I just don't really like sports. But like, I always remember, like, the girls that would, like, get really into sports. I was like, you don't like sports. You just want men to like you. Were you?
Yes.
My sister
in
did
all
that.
Transparency, I'm just I was that.
Yeah,
girl.
No shade. I mean, you do what you got to do. I mean, I was trying to be the sweetest, kindest person you ever met. Mm-hmm. Just the most virginal Christian woman. Blech.
Yeah,
and I'm the opposite. You know,
people took advantage of that.
Oh yeah, they did for sure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, organized sports. Of course, my son plays baseball, but I love watching him. But organized sports, I can't get into them.
I mean,
because I'm not a. Go ahead.
Well, no, what? You're not a what?
No, I don't really believe in the whole competitive thing.
Well, I mean, to me, it's more like I can't, like, it's so just like dripping in the patriarchy that I'm just like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
no,
like football.
Yes.
I'm just like, okay, can you guys not take yourself so seriously? Like, you make fun of us for like having like fashion magazines and like blog, whatever. I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
But like, you make fun of us for like watching Real Housewives of whatever. But you guys like geek out over, you watch the football game and then you watch people talk about the football game that you just watched
constantly. Yes,
like that's ridiculous. You know, and to me, like, I remember somebody saying like, you can talk about football all day, but can you talk about like can you be intimate with your wife? Can you have an intimate conversation with your wife? No, you can't.
Okay, so have you ever heard of Aaron Apke?
No.
Oh, he's on YouTube. You need to look him up.
Okay.
I learned so much from him. And at the beginning of my deconstruction, because he actually used to be, his father was a pastor, and I think he graduated college, and he was a youth pastor, I believe. Anyway, and he noticed how the church members treated people, basically. Anyway, he ended up deconstructing. He has so much good information. That's how I learned like the feminine and masculine energy and how it worked and all this stuff. So I heard on one of his videos, this was years ago, sports is a distraction for men especially, so they would not learn how to or like get into their consciousness. It's a distraction. Yes. And it's a huge distraction if you think about it, because we have sports in the fall and winter is football, right? And then you go to basketball. I don't know when basketball season is, but it's somewhere in there. And then you have baseball. So it's almost year round that they have sports. So they will be distracted and they don't have to stay in like a state of consciousness, right? Yeah. So they don't know how to be conscious. They don't know how to be intimate with their wives. Or their children, or have an actual relationship, because they are forever distracted.
It just feels, I mean, like when you say that, it's like, this is all by design.
It is all by design. Man. All by design. Every bit of it.
It's so crazy.
Isn't it?
But I do think that it's kind of like, you can't put the genie back in the lamp, or what's the saying? I don't know what the saying is. Back in the bottle. And, because I think that's why there's this mass awakening happening right now, is because we're all sharing.
I completely agree.
Experiences. Like,
yes.
I think, like, you know, everybody's like, oh, everybody's a narcissist. Like, why is everybody talking about narcissists? I was like, well, because we finally have a vocabulary word for it.
We understand what it is. That's right.
We know what it is. Yeah. Yes. And so we're all like exchanging stories. And so now we're able to pinpoint it. And so like all these women and some men, you know, are like waking up in their relationships. And, you know, and not just that, it's just like the systems. It's like, yes. I think, you know, I talk about coercive control in a lot of my videos, and a lot of people have like said that kind of sounds like Christianity, or that sounds like what the government's doing.
So explain what that is for people that don't know.
Coercive control. So essentially it's just basically when someone is manipulating you or causing, like, forcing you to do things through intimidation. Okay. So it's super sneaky. Like I was saying, it's so sneaky that you don't know what's happening. And this was what was happening in my marriage. And basically it gives you the illusion that you are like still autonomous and you still are in control and you're still making your own choices, but it takes it away essentially. So it takes that away and so for like example, like my ex, when we first started dating, he slowly was trying to pull me away from my family and like kind of isolate me. But the way he did it wasn't overt. It was very subtle. So he would just plant little things in my brain after we'd hang out with my family or friends. So like, it would be like, and And it wouldn't even be outright. Because I remember I posted something, somebody was like, well, why didn't you defend your friends and family? Like, you know them better.
You don't even know it's happening.
You don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
He'd just be like, oh, that was a weird thing they said. And I was like, oh, was it? He's like, well, maybe not. You know, and
then there's that doubt.
Yeah, and then there's that doubt that's planted. And then also because, like, you're becoming more, you know, this is the person that's going to be your person. So for me anyways, I think it can happen outside of romantic relationships. But I was, like, starting to be more on his team, right? And so like I was like, okay, this is the natural progression of things, like I'm gonna like whatever. And so slowly over time, but then the other thing he would be doing at the same time would be I'd come back from hanging out with friends and then he'd be in a terrible mood for the next day and a half. He'd be in a terrible mood. He would never say it was because I was hanging out with my friends. I didn't connect that necessarily, but I'm sure like on some level I connected it or I talked on the phone to family and then the same thing would happen. And so slowly over time, I just became conditioned to not hang out with people or not talk to people. And then what do you know? I'm isolated and I'm alone and I'm only with him. And he's the only person, you know, that I'm in contact with that is kind of like reprogramming my brain. And I don't even know what's happening. No clue that it was happening at all.
I could go ahead and guess that resonates with a lot of people that don't even know what's happening and what's going on.
I think most marriages have coercive control an element. Most, and not all by any means, but I think most, because I think that coercive control is how we brainwash boys to become men that are cut off from their emotions, and that they do that. Like I said, they dominate. That's domination. It's domination.
Because a lot of marriages, it comes from religion. The unity.
Like think about like why. I mean, well, other than, I mean, there are financial benefits. There's also, I think. No, but you're probably right. It's mainly just religious.
Like the concept. And I'm not saying like I do believe that we'll be attracted and to a mate, right? But just the idea of marriage and the way that we look at it, men are the head of the household, women are submissive. I'm just saying the big idea of how a marriage should look comes from religion, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume, because I feel like I read that, you know, like marriage didn't always exist. You know what I mean? Like you know, it came along at a certain point, because I think I read that like early on when the church first formed, that actually they looked down on marriage. And they looked at it as something that was like, if you have to do it, then do it, but you shouldn't do it.
Well, that's because Paul said that in the Bible. That was his outlook. Oh, yeah. Yes, women were not Paul's favorite species. Paul did not like women.
Yeah.
So,
people love Paul in the church.
Yes. And many of the rules that churches go by now, it's Paul's rules. It's not Jesus.
Yeah, I think didn't you do a video where it should be like
Paulinity
instead of Christianity?
Yeah, instead of Christianity.
Yeah.
And funny, my son had pointed this out to me before we left the church, and we looked into it more, and it's like, absolutely. But Paul said, don't get married, basically. But if you could not control your urges, it's better to just go ahead and get married.
Oh, so that probably is where it came from.
Yeah.
But then I just don't understand, because I'm like, because even right now, the reason everybody's up in arms about like abortion is because the birth rate is low. It's very low. So they're trying to control, because they need people to work, you know, in their factories and do the menial jobs. And like the easiest way to do that is to force low income women to have children.
Absolutely. You're right. And because those are the ones that can be controlled.
They can be controlled, and they can do all the jobs that nobody else wants to do.
That's right. That's right.
And so, but it's like interesting that like, I don't know, maybe that wasn't an issue back in the day.
Well, I think it's always been an issue. to a certain point.
Well, it's interesting. Like, I wonder what happened after the Black Plague, because, like, I mean, so much of the population was wiped out. Like, they had to repopulate, essentially.
So, have you noticed since deconstruction that your views on people, the earth, animals, has that changed? Have you found, because I know I have, but the amount of love that I have for people and things, like just the earth period, has drastically changed.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like the opposite with people.
Interesting, yeah.
Because I feel like I was so without any boundaries that I like thought the best of people. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I got burned really, really bad. And so now I think I still think that people are worthy. I think absolutely every single person on this planet, I don't care how hateful their actions are, I think they're still worthy of love or like just worthy, period.
Yeah.
By virtue of existing. Like, I think that's the thing that shifted for me. I used to think you're only worthy if you were saved and because of Christ's blood. And now I'm like, you're worthy because you're here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't worthy. Like, God wouldn't make you and put you on this planet and give you life. So you're worthy by virtue just of being alive, right?
Yeah.
But no, in terms of people, I am very cautious, and maybe I'm sure I'll come out of that. Like, I think I don't automatically think people are evil, but I do now. I call it what is it? Like if I meet somebody for the first time and they're really nice, I'm like, cool. Yeah. And I'm going to wait to see if this is a consistent
You're not just going to jump in blindly like you used to.
Over time. Yeah. So it's more just like I'm cautious, but but I
and
still
I have that same.
You do?
I mean,
okay.
Yes. Like used to, I would give people the benefit of the doubt, like, immediately. So I can relate with that part. I can. But let me say this first. You talked about Christ's blood. We're talking blood sacrifice if we really, really think about this. Like, for us to have salvation, like, God used blood sacrifice for his son. Do you see a problem with that?
Well, I mean, yes and no, because I do think, like, weirdly, for us to live, we need energy. And so kind of there's like a sacrifice there that, like, I'm going to eat that plant. I'm going to eat that animal. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, kind of, we kind of do that, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think, like, that's how I think of it. But, no, I remember thinking, and I remember this is when my ex was like, had gotten a job as a pastor, and I was really going through the deconstruction phase, and I was starting to speak up about it. Thankfully, we were at a pretty like liberal church. I didn't know that at first because I didn't kind of know the kind of denomination, but it was pretty liberal. And thank goodness, because I think they would have tossed me right out. But I remember thinking, wait a second, if I made a video game, and it started malfunctioning, would I punish the video game? Would I say, you're bad, video game? Why aren't you working well? Yeah. No, I'd be like, oh, I messed up. I messed up and I need to fix it, right? And so that's when I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would God get mad at us? He made us. Like, he knew this was like possible. Why would he be mad at us? And why would he throw us in hell for eternity?
Yeah. But if he's all knowing, then that means he knew that we were going to do it.
Right. Yeah. And so like, that's where I was like, something smells off.
I just think that blood sacrifice, it just doesn't seem natural to me. I just think it, like, and I do understand, like, eating, we do have to, but we're not sacrificing. Like, I think if anything was demonic, which I don't believe in Satan, but that would be demonic.
I don't know. Like, I think, like, yeah, no, I don't think that's good. But
Yeah.
like, obviously, like when they talk about like virgin sacrifices and like the
Yeah.
Mayan temples and whatever, I'm like, yeah, no, not good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't think it's necessary. So like, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me that like, well, why do harm?
Yeah.
Why do harm?
I
Like, if we
know.
don't need to, why?
And I mean, when we have like the Lord's Supper, I don't know if y'all do this, but we drink his blood and eat his flesh.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Isn't that weird? Oh, the other thing that got me going was, isn't it fascinating that we're told that woman was created from man?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry? Excuse me?
I know.
How does that work? Because that's interesting. So the first woman was created by the man, but the rest of them were created by women. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I completely agree with that too.
And then I found out that, and this is that book, The Dance of the Dissident Daughter, I was talking about, that essentially, did you know the old cathedrals were designed to look like fallopian tubes? So if you think about, you walk in and like even the old doors look like this. And so it's supposed to be like the vaginal opening, right?
Yes.
And then you have the birth canal or the vagina, whatever you want to call it. And then it opens up into two circular on either side of the altar. There's like, you know, where they put the candles and whatever. And I was like, and then you have men dressed in dresses, like giving out like the blood and the flesh. And I'm like, I'm sorry, excuse me.
I never thought about that.
Like, I'm pretty sure we're the ones that are like giving of our flesh and our blood in birthing people.
We are, yes, absolutely. I've never thought about that. So I have found that I can see people where they're at because I understand energy and frequency and like vibration, all of that so much more. I know they're coming from a wounded place. I'm cautious, but I'm compassionate because I know that that's layers of trauma that's inside of them.
Yes.
That's why they're reacting, and that's how they were conditioned. So I find I am a lot less, now that I have deconstructed, I'm a lot less judgmental. Because used to I'd be like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's probably how I should have asked that. I used to could see like a homeless person and be like, they can get a job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'd say I'm definitely way less judgmental.
And now, no. I mean, yeah, could they? But they probably couldn't hold a job because they have been shamed their whole life.
Yeah. And
they're living in a state of fear and shame and guilt. So they're on that constant hamster wheel, that cycle of not being worthy. And so, no, they can't hold a job because they don't think they're worthy. That's why they're homeless.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
And also talking about like from an energy perspective, to jump from being in the frequency of being homeless to having a job and an apartment, like that's a quantum leap. That's so hard to do.
That's right.
Because you have to like see yourself as an entirely different person to be able to do that. So it's like, it's not just a matter of getting a job and an apartment. Yeah. It's a whole complete shift.
Yes. So I look at people completely differently now.
Yeah, me too.
And I have compassion.
Yes. I remember during the, like right at the end of the pandemic, I went out for a concert and it was like the first time I'd gone out, like, you know, a few years. And especially up here in Chicago. And, but it was like after I'd been in recovery for a while. And so I'd like been in my healing journey. And I just remember looking around and like being so, like feeling so in love with everyone and just so grateful. And it was such like a huge moment for me because before when I would walk into like a bar or concert or whatever, I would be sizing everyone up and seeing where am I in this like, you know, food chain? And instead I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Everybody's like doing like, this is so great. Because I think for me, you know, like I've learned that I have like one lens. And if I'm looking out judgmentally, that I'm going to be looking in judgmentally too. And so
absolutely.
When I let go,
mirror.
Yeah. And so when I started to let go of that judgment towards myself, I naturally became more loving of other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. I have really enjoyed that aspect of deconstruction.
Me too. Well, and also the other crazy thing, you were asking about this earlier, I love nature now. I was such a city girl and I hated bugs, and I still don't love bugs, but like now they don't bother me as much.
And you don't want to kill them every time you see them.
No, I talk to them.
I know. Same.
I know. I talk to them now. I was like, you're losing it.
I
do you really? Yeah. Like I walk through the forest. I mean, there's like a forest preserve by my house, and I walk through it almost daily. And like, I just feel like, I just feel in tune with the trees and the animals, and it just connected. I feel part of it. Whereas like you were saying earlier, like when I was like Christian, it was like, and not just Christian, but like before I'd started, I don't know, feeling more connected. I just thought we were like so separate. Like we were kind of almost
everything
aliens.
Is separate. That's right. Yeah.
On this planet, like we were this, and then there's everything else. We're this, but we're part of nature.
I know.
Just as much as they are.
And it's beautiful.
But it's been taken away from us.
I know.
But we're reclaiming it. We're totally reclaiming it.
Yes, and it feels so good.
It does feel good.
And it feels natural. It feels so natural.
And I do think that's part of like being in your divine feminine is like getting back to being one with nature. 'Cause that's, you know, I mean like, yeah, it's so abundant and it's so generous and just present. And those are all things I want to be.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Finding that state of consciousness, mindfulness, being in the moment, being present, like you said. I think that is our ultimate goal.
Yeah. And but I like, you know, what was I saying the other day about like, I think like, you know, like Eckhart Tolle and the other people, or Tolle, however you say his name, like some people can achieve that state of just always constantly being present. Oh, that's what I was saying. Like, I remember I heard somebody say that fear is just having faith in evil.
Yes.
And because like when, you know, if you're not somebody who can be in the present state all of the time, then, you know, you either have like the angel or the devil on your shoulder. But I never thought about it that way, that like fear is having faith in evil and love is having faith in like things working out for you.
Yes.
And so like really like, you know, since we do think about the past and the future, we can like choose between those. And I was like, oh, why have I been choosing fear? Like,
yes.
Seems insane.
No.
But it's like what I knew, you know?
That's how we're conditioned.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Think about if we were conditioned the opposite. Like I remember I started reading these books called Conversations with God, and it's like a series. And in it, he talks about like, do you ever wonder why children aren't taught mindfulness in school? Why we're not taught how to love others? Why we're not taught how to get along with people?
Yeah, because they couldn't control them.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, we're taught facts.
Exactly.
Like, and even
how
like,
many of those facts are actually facts?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, that's another conversation.
Yeah,
but yeah, this has been such an enlightening conversation. And I know that we could go on and on, but...
Oh, for sure.
We do have to end at some point. So, last thing, if someone who is deconstructing, someone who is terrified to ask questions or to even look at deconstructing, but has been secretly doubting, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Oh, I mean, I think, ooh, that's tough. Well, I can only say what I did. And that was, I started reading things in secret.
Yeah.
I started reading things in secret. And then I just started like allowing myself to really think about it. Because you know what? If Christianity and God and like all of that is like true, then it'll hold up. It'll hold up.
That's right.
And so, like, I think that's kind of where I came from. I was like, okay, it'll hold up. It's good to have doubt because then it makes you appreciate your faith.
Yeah.
And if not, well, then, like, there you have
learn
it.
the truth. That's
then you'll
right.
know the truth. But, like, I mean, Christ says it. And I really do, after reading the book Letting Go, the Map of Consciousness by, David Hawkins, I really do think the fastest way, and I know this to be true because this is what happened for me, the fastest way to freedom, if you feel trapped, is by telling the truth. Yes. And Christ says it. He says it.
Authenticity.
Authenticity, but like the truth will set you free.
Exactly.
You will know the truth.
That. That's right.
And it'll set you free because it basically, it clears up all of the illusion.
Yeah.
And it makes things simple. And the other thing that somebody told me recently is like, no, I was watching a podcast of like, how do you know if it's fear or your intuition? Yeah. And the person was saying like fear stresses you out. Like basically it just causes, it causes more fear, right? So more worry, whatever. And like your intuition is peaceful. Yes. So you're going to find peace from it. You're never going to find fear. So that's right. Kind of, and also the intuition lies more in your body. It's more of a feeling than it is a thought. And the fear is going to be more of a thought. So like thoughts running through your brain. And so I don't know. I think I'd say check in with your body. Like, if you believe in God, like God made the body and the body's good and it's very intelligent. And so if it doesn't sit well in your body, listen to that.
That's right.
And if it does sit well, then listen to that too.
That's right. Because our body speak to us. Our body speaks to us.
For sure. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to do their own research, a lot like you said, because I read and I researched without anybody knowing. And have grace with yourself. And learn how to release the fear and the shame that you were used to living in, and learn to listen to your intuition, because it will always guide us in the right direction, and not the condition, not in the state of like being conditioned, but having allowing yourself to have an open mind and not being afraid of what you're going to find on the other side. Because I remember like in the very beginning, I was so terrified of what I was going to find that I would stop. Right. And then I would feel guilty for reading or listening to certain things. And I finally said, God or source or divine spirit, any creator is not going to shame me for having doubts. Because if I'm having doubts for because of the way that people are treating other people, I mean, the doubts are valid. And God should not feel threatened because I'm asking him to explain this to me because it doesn't make sense.
Well, and
right?
Like, think about like if God is all knowing and all loving, like God is not threatened. Like that always drove me nuts.
Yes.
When I would see, this was like, when I was well into my deconstruction phase, but I would see Christians online outrageously offended by a non-Christian. And I'm just like,
that's your ego. That's not
hello?
God. And that's not you protecting Christianity. That is your ego.
Yeah, well, and like I remember just being like, why are you offended? Why are Christians offended at all by people who don't, know the God that you know? You shouldn't be offended whatsoever. That should make sense to you. Why are you offended?
And that's, I completely agree with you. And also, to add to that, they should be concerned about their soul if you think heaven and hell is real. Right? Yeah. Instead of being offended and throw in judgment and hate someone's way, if you really cared, you would care about their soul
right,
and going to hell. Instead, a lot of Christians are like, you're going to burn in hell. Have fun. Or, you know, you'll be smoking or something like that. And to me, that just shows how self-centered a lot of all of this is.
Yeah.
And its salvation is, as long as I'm saved, I'm fine. I know I'm going to heaven, and everything else is on you. It's very self-serving.
It is super self-serving. And I remember reading, I don't know if it was in The Power of Now, but one of Eckhart Tolle's books was basically said that the root of all evil is thinking that you know and they don't.
Yes.
And like,
absolutely,
so many atrocities have come to pass just because of that.
That's right. And the less you think you know, the better you are. Like, I know nothing. Yeah. Like, anything can be proven, right? And it's just, again, we're stuck in our ego, and if we think only fools think that they have all the answers.
Yeah, well, and I think that's such a clear sign to me of like somebody that has an expanded consciousness and like just some more like emotional intelligence, that they know that they don't know.
Exactly.
And it like if I come across somebody that like thinks they know exactly what happened, I was like,
it's like, nope. I completely agree.
You're not far along on the path.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah. Oh, Kirby, thank you so much.
This
has been another great conversation.
I could do this for hours.
I know, I could too.
I love it.
Me too. And we will do it again.
Okay,
sounds like we have plenty to add to the list,
I think
right?
we do. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So, you know, deconstruction can feel really lonely, really scary. But anyone who is in the middle of deconstruction or in the beginning or in the end or has gone through it, just remember that you are not alone. And remember that asking questions, it takes courage. It does not make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that you're probably tapping into something that is worth asking. And on the other side of all the unraveling, there really is so much freedom, love, and peace waiting for you. So if this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss any of these future conversations. Like I said, you are not alone on this journey, and you're exactly where you're meant to be. Until next time, take care of your heart, trust your intuition, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me for this 2-part conversation with Kirby O'Connell. These stories are close to the heart, and I hope they offer you encouragement whenever you are on your journey of questioning, healing, or simply seeking more authenticity in your faith and life. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. It really helps spread the message. And most importantly, remember, you are not alone on this journey. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep leaning into your own truth.